Hello once again. Welcome to the BeWise Chronicles with me, Clive Davis, and him over there.
Alan Reith.
And I'll tell you something, Alan. You'll be interested. I used to be a teenage werewolf, but I'm all right now.
No,
Classic,
no.
classic stuff. Yes, brought to you today. You might need your sunglasses. Brought to you in shiny bald vision.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely,
there we go.
absolutely.
So yes, if any, I don't know, wig makers or something want to sponsor the show, I think we'd be happy to slap a rug on.
Well, I don't know. After this, after what we've just watched, we'd have to have the full regal, the whole werewolf
Yeah,
costume.
yeah, no, we'll be getting to the hippie werewolf of yeah. So this came about. I don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about last time, but for some reason, Teen Wolf came up. And we weren't planning to do Teen Wolf, but then kind of
And
we
you know
thought,
what? I'd never plan to do it again if I had the chance.
no, we were thinking, well, we do Teen Wolf, might as well do, Teen Wolf 2. And then, well, yeah, well, then I Was a Teenage Werewolf, which is, kind of the origin text for all of this. I was thinking, I was chuck that in. And then, oh, hang on, now there was that film Full Moon High, right, which Teen Wolf
Full
might
moon
have
high.
copied.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
chucked that in. So there we go.
Think better from Alan Arkin, but there we go.
Yeah, and then got to thinking, oh yeah, but then Teen Wolf came back, doesn't there? It was a TV series, but we're not doing a TV series. That's too much. But then lo and behold, I found out there's a Teen Wolf the movie spin-off. So I had to
Yes.
look at that. And then I was thinking, oh, hang on now. These are all there is that other we're all thinking of Teenage Wolf Boys, but there is, of course, Ginger Snaps.
Ginger snaps.
Which might actually be the better of all these films. So we decided, well, we'll see.
I concur on that one.
Yes, we'll get through them. Now, Al didn't get a chance to see all of them, but he's seen some of them. So
Yeah, I started every one of them.
there we go. That's always good.
I may not have gone. Yeah. I did 100% on a few, not the men.
Yeah, so we'll move through it, but the core of it is the Teen Wolf. That's the BeWise of it, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of which, next time, get ahead of you might disagree, you might have different ideas. Something that came to me, and it's only 2 films, so it's I quite fancy to do Zapped and Zapped again. Do you remember Zapped? Zapped, very early starring role for Scott Biao.
Okay.
And it's
Yes.
the one, I can't remember the ins and outs of it exactly, but it's basically it's like a mild teen sex comedy where he gets telekinesis, which of course you can make girls' bras fly off and you can look up their skirts and stuff like that. All wholesome 80s comedy stuff.
No, I don't remember that one.
You don't know Zapped?
No. When we go to, wholesome comedy, well, not even comedy, but for some reason no, I don't remember it. No.
Do you fancy doing them?
I wouldn't mind doing. I thought about the other day when we're doing werewolves and things different. I would love to see Vamp again.
Ah, yes, that's a good call.
Because the reason being, I think it must have been Friday night. No, it was Friday night, I think. And they're not B movies. How would you class them? They were like bad. Well, Weird Science would be in the same kind of thing. They'd show them on BBC Two at, I don't know, midnight or 10 o'clock at night or whatever.
Well, Vamp would have been on Moviedrome.
Maybe it's a whole Moviedrome thing then. But I remember having to sneak watch them, and because you didn't have the option of putting subtitles on something. I had to watch something, and sometimes I have to guess the dialogue because I would watch it on a very low volume.
Yeah,
I get most of it, but I'd always have the remote ready to switch off because if there was any noise, my parents were catching me watching TV. It wasn't even watching anything dodgy.
No, but they
It was
would
just like
disapprove of Grace Jones in the middle of the night.
After 8 p.m., bloody hell, I couldn't watch TV. It was the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, well, I had a similar. So I had in my room, I had a very ancient black and white television. You probably remember it.
I remember because I remember one time we watched a film on it and we couldn't figure out if it was a fountain or a fountain of a fountain of water, a fountain of blood.
Right. Yes, and it had a dial on it for the channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing with that is to speak, I remember every night, like, sometimes I would have the volume on super low just in case. And but the thing is that the dial thing is that it would go from and then and so you got to ride the dial very carefully depending on what was on,
But also the audio mix wasn't that great back in the day, so you could have talking like this and also
Well, you say that. I find today, in terms of television broadcasts at least, I find it's worse. Like I find back in the old days, there was most things were mixed in a kind of reasonable range, but it's nowadays.
But it was
Yeah.
it was the distribution of like BBC or whoever,
Right.
But they weren't catering for the mid to preteen kind of sneaking watching this at a low volume kind of song.
No. Well, but nowadays, what I was going to say is I have that more though of people mumbling, and you turn the volume up, and then all of a sudden something blows you out of your seat because I guess people have really quite sophisticated potentially sophisticated setups at home now, but they're not necessarily set up correctly, right? Because most people just turn it on and then turn it off again. They don't think to fiddle with all the variables and exactly what kind of sound you need, and
I automatically I put subtitles and everything now because I feel like I concentrate more when I watch something.
I reckon it's that, but also it's like a Pavlovian thing because growing up BBC Two and Channel 4, you're thinking, oh, if I put subtitles on, some tits might pop up any minute now.
Well, like jump on.
Yeah, even if you're watching, something, I don't know.
So some tartan issue,
yeah,
kind of European kind of.
Yeah, exactly. If it had subtitles on and it was on after 9 o'clock, guaranteed there'll be some tits. And there always was. We were never wrong. There was always something.
I mean, sometimes I just have to get my top off and just look at the reflection on the screen.
Yeah. That would work. So, yeah, well, there we go then. So maybe next time we'll do Vamp and Zapped then.
Okay, yeah, because Zapped, I can't remember Zapped, but I remember Vamp. I could probably go through I haven't seen Vamp. It's at least 30 years since I saw Vamp.
It's been a while since I saw it, yeah.
I could probably, not verbatim, but I know most of it right now.
All right, interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know why I only saw it. I only ever saw it the once.
Co-starring Michelle Pfeiffer's sister.
The main protagonist in Vamp was Robert Downey's partner in crime in Weird Science, but I can't remember his name. But he was, it was him.
Right. But it was all about Grace Jones, really. So that's what you remember of Vamp, isn't it?
Yeah, and I remember the end credits when he's walking through the sewer. I remember that.
No, I'm quite keen to redo it. There we go then. But first, how about let's fucking do what we've got under our nose before we
yeah.
to dreaming. Yes.
I don't even know how we got into this, but yeah, kind of after.
Right. Okay. So, yes, I Was a Teenage Werewolf, 1957, from AIP, directed by Gene Fowler Jr., written, produced Herman Cohen and someone else called Aben Candle. And so this film, I think, is very easy to overlook now. I think we've forgotten quite how influential this film was, right?
I mean, it's got different layers, definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
but just when it was, I mean, so it's coming just after, Rebel Without a Cause and stuff like that. So you're in classic teen angst period. Those films are already popular, but this had the magic formula, right, for, because like something Rebel Without a Cause in a way isn't necessarily aimed at the teens who are in it, if you see what I mean. Like it's a bit more of a general audience picture, right?
Yes, and I remember this being I remember this being advertised. This used to be like a BBC filler film as well, because I remember this first time I watched. Well, the last time I remember distinctly watching this, it was either like Christmas Eve, like just after midnight,
Mm.
and it was one of the or New Year's Day, etc. So you normally have the Cheech and Chong bullshit, which was always they always had Cheech and Chong go to Mardi Gras, Cheech and Chong go hunt a vampire, but they would always have one of those filling in the schedule somewhere because it was probably cheap.
Right.
And this was another one of those kind of. I remember seeing it coming up and go, why is this being shown so often? It wasn't that good. But I'll
So it would have
rephrase
been
it.
on New Year's Eve, you're saying, or
It would have been New Year's Eve right after the fireworks kind of thing, or Christmas Eve, just fill the void.
that's
Oh
interesting.
yay, celebration! And they were like, we need something cheap to fill the airwaves, and bang!
Right. My big memory of a New Year's Eve film, like a good one when I was a kid, was I remember one year, I can't remember which year, maybe early 90s. And it was always interesting to watch a film that, like, so all, you know, maybe BBC One and ITV, of course, everything was scheduled around. So New Year's Eve, you'd have the countdown and fucking Jules Holland and his boogie woogie piano and whatever it might be. And but what was interesting about BBC Two Channel 4, they would like just put on a film that started prior to midnight and finished after. So it was
Yeah,
like totally ignoring the new year coming in. Um,
exactly.
and I remember one year that film was Mad Max.
Yeah, which is ironic because that's pretty decent.
Yeah, well, it was also the first time I'd ever seen it, and I remember bringing in the new year. Yeah, my mother would have been in the other room watching the countdown, coming, "Oh, play the new year that," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm watching Mel Gibson go postal here."
Yeah, because well, I think you and I were akin in this, where when it came to the whole Christmas New Year thing, you would buy the Radio Times and you'd
Yeah.
buy the TV Times, and then basically I had my television schedule, which was, I mean, magic to me being a film buff in my teens.
Oh, it's like
I-
the gospel, isn't it? Is it
yeah, I marked
the
everything.
2 week special issue of Radio Times?
Yes. I would mark it with red and I go, definite watch this
Yeah,
and record this and I'll
yeah.
watch this another time. And yeah, it was simpler times.
Well, I also remember. I'm pretty sure this is right. I'm not making this up. If you went back far enough, when I was very, very young, you did have to buy Radio Times and TV because it didn't once upon a time didn't Radio Times only list BBC stuff?
Yeah, yeah. So originally you have to do BBC Radio Times and then the TV Times would do the ITV and the Channel 4.
Yes, yes.
And I think by 94, 95, they amalgamated then. So you have to choose which one you actually wanted to go with.
I was always Radio Times for me.
Yeah, because Barry Norman, I mean, he wasn't a great reviewer, but he always had enough information in the Radio Times because he had a big section in that. So agree or disagree, he was always informative, like that.
Yeah, the only reason I went with Radio Times was very specific because it was the only one that told you if things had been edited for television.
Yes.
So if you were in the film section, it would say, "Oh, this film has been, edited for television or whatever." So then I'd know if I was gonna either avoid something, or in the rare case of the TV edit being comedy gold, I'm definitely I'm definitely watching RoboCop on ITV because that's a totally different film. I once even called him Airhead.
You come here,
Forget me, forget you, or whatever the
Melon
guy.
Farmer.
Yeah,
Melon Farmer.
Melon Farmer. Yes, yeah. So yes, there were a few choice examples. I think Scarface as well had some fantastic comedy dubbing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Was it how do you get that scar? Eating pussy became eating pineapple.
But also, we had the watershed. So I tell people they could show anything after 9 o'clock, which is not the case anymore, or wasn't then. But the watershed on the BBC was pretty decent until Mary Whitehouse actually, kicked off and, did her fucking thing. But still.
Well, I mean, when Channel 4 came along as well.
I thought it was pretty decent because 9 o'clock, yeah, you weren't supposed to watch what you weren't supposed to watch.
Yeah, and Channel 4 really went for it. I mean, they did show stuff, and it's interesting as well. I try and we've gone way off tangent here, but I try and explain this to people who didn't. I might talk about this before, who didn't. So England had Channel 4, right? But in Wales we would have S4C, S4C, which is the regional provincial version of Channel 4, which would have been half the day Welsh language programming.
Yes.
And then the other stuff that had been on Channel 4. And surprisingly, we got pretty much everything. We didn't get repeats. I noticed that was the thing. If you missed something on S4C, it wasn't coming around again.
No, I think we got 80% of the good stuff.
Yeah, I think so. And what was surprising?
There's only one shot.
Yeah, but what was surprising is that would include, like we said, all the foreign films with tits, all the transgressive stuff that they showed, which for me always made S4C one of the most fascinating TV channels in the world, right? Because not to put too fine a point on it, but there wasn't much in the regional programming which was going to bother any censors, right? Like it's very super safe programming, right?
Yeah, it was that you could transmit 100% of their stuff 100% of the time.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, lunchtime or your lunchtime Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning, where it should have been kids' cartoons, whatever. Everything was fluff in a way.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just amazing to me that you had this channel that, up until 8, 9 o'clock, you'd have had some show where they'd have been interviewing,
a farmer about their sheep, and all of a sudden you got Eurotrash then, and they're going on about
fisting in Hungary or something. Oh yeah. No, it was a brilliant channel in that way, and it gave you whip. What amazed me was how they kept it, like, because your classic S4C viewer would have been like my grandfather, for example, who would have watched Pobl y Cwm, and he'd have watched Kevin Glad, and what Dachre Canu Dachre Camol.
Hymn service,
all that stuff. He would watch it all, and I don't know if he went to bed early or something, but like I never got the sense that he accidentally left the telly on and then came back in the room and like dropped his tray on the floor because Eurotrash was talking about fisting in Hungary or something. Like, so it never seemed to get in, like, the target demographic for nice S4C stuff never seemed to stay up late or something and or notice that what was going on late at night. But us youngsters
They
did.
didn't. Yeah, but they didn't have points of view to write to.
But I suppose so, yeah. But that's kind of amazing, isn't it? And I don't know. I'm assuming, does S4C still work the same way? Is it still more Welsh stuff in the day and then Channel 4 imports during the night? Or
Well, I don't know. I haven't been there for 8 years
you don't
myself
get
now.
it there in Nashville, do you?
No, strangely enough, regional here is all about cowboys and gospel. So
Right.
yeah.
So anyway, that brings us nicely to
Anyway,
Teenage Werewolf.
Teen Wolf.
Yeah. So yes. So we can't underestimate this was teens, aimed at teens, and there's not rock and roll in this. Oddly enough, I remembered it having more rock and roll in, but it's not. It's more actually there's more like jazz stuff in it, isn't there? But it's teens and teen settings, and it was massive. I Was a Teenage Werewolf was a massive hit at the drive-ins, and it led to dozens and dozens and dozens of
Yeah.
similar teen-orientated horror, science fiction, rock and roll mashup things.
It reminded me of, and I can't remember the title now, but it was the same genre where they were trying to tackle drugs, and the big the scene that I remember most, it was like eyes who was sold cocaine by someone or whatever it was, and he came in with a coat stand and he was dancing with it in the middle of this. The people were like, "What's wrong with him? Why is he acting so funny?" But it was that kind of innocent approach to a difficult topic, right? I mean, I don't know how many werewolves
they're all on cocaine.
Being a problem, but I'll have to look it up. It wasn't fast. No, anyway, but it was that same kind of late 50s.
Right, juvenile delinquent kind of. Yeah. I'm wondering, what would that might be. It could be anything. It could be like The Cool and the Crazy, or I'm blanking on exactly which one that might be. But anyway, so Michael Landon, who
Yes.
of course later famous for Little House on the Prairie, and of course your favorite, Al, Highway to Heaven.
I mean, that was me and my grandmother and I's staple Sunday afternoon.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, it was always on, put like that.
I don't remember, but I remember the opening credits and going through Lan near Nefoedd and all that. But I don't actually remember much about the Michael Landon was basically an angel, right? Was that the premise? And he would save
Michael Landon was, he was an angel. It was like the littlest hobo, but with Michael Landon as an angel instead of a dog.
I just came home again. Do, 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 do.
Yeah.
And
then his driver was his brother-in-law from a previous marriage, or whoever the angel's body was before.
Right. So anyway, it's a little tiny bit quantum leap as well, isn't it?
Yes. They were just helping someone everything.
Right. Yes, the Littlest Hobo theme tune still makes me a little sad to this day to hear it somehow. A poor little dog never could settle down, could he?
Every stop I make a new friend.
That's genuinely quite moving. I'm not taking the piss. I always found that a bit sad, the Littlest Hobo theme tune.
Yeah, but the ironic thing is, I mentioned that in this country and nobody knows me. So Littlest Hobo must have been a very Canadian thing.
I think it might have been Canadian, yes.
I think Mike Myers did one when he was like a young boy as well, but yeah.
Well, you can tell it's Canadian because it is, like I said, from the theme tune, it's a little bit melancholy, right? Which is something the Americans wouldn't have done. That's very much a Canadian.
But also, that's why it was so prevalent in our childhood, because I think it would have been cheaper for Canadian television to be on ours.
Yeah, well, we definitely, yes, being colonials, see? we got a discount, didn't we? So we would have had a lot of Canadian stuff on our screens. Another one, for example, which every Canadian in the world knows and would have been on telly a number of times. I remember when I was a kid. Do you remember that cartoon? Well, the cat came back the very next day. Yes, the cat came back. They thought he was a guy. This little stray cat turns up at a guy's house and he tries to get rid of it and throws it in the river and it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. Oh, do you remember that?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
That would have been on like that would have been classic filler BBC Two, like Deaf 2 time of day.
Def 2? What the fuck is Def 2?
Darling, you're slipping. Def, DEF, cool 80s speak. Def 2. It's where Red Dwarf started.
All right, yeah. No,
And it would have a lot of shows hosted by like Janet Street Porter would have been on Def 2.
Oh, yeah,
That
Def
kind
2
of
was
thing.
late. Now, that fucking cat thing wouldn't have been that late, surely.
Yeah, it was on. No, that was on. Def 2 was like 5, 6 p.m. something around that time.
Oh, Red Dwarf was always late.
No, because that's what made that slot a bit cooler then. So then on Friday, like I think it was on Friday. So then after Def 2 finished, you'd get that's when they started rerunning things like Thunderbirds and Star Trek and
All right,
like a bit of a cult kind of slot.
All right, okay.
Space
Well,
1999 and stuff like that would have been on it then after in between Def 2.
oh, I would have thought Def 2 would have been a bit later than that then because Thunderbirds was like, yeah, as you said, 6 o'clock thing. But anyway.
No, because it was deaf, Alan. So it was for the kids. It was for the youth. It was youth programming.
I understand that, but yeah, youth wouldn't have been watching TV because there'd have been cartoons before then.
Well, that was the thing with F2. See, was if you were at the wrong age and you weren't sure because you're like, oh, I'm gonna miss the end of Grange Hill to catch the beginning of Def 2. So they were hard, tough decisions to be made in those days.
Hello, John. Got a new mower?
So
That
Michael
was then
London.
too, probably. Alexis.
Michael London is a werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. Well, no,
Yes.
he's a werewolf and he's
eventually becomes an angel.
Yeah, by Whit Bissell, who plays like a psychiatrist who's using hypnosis and some sort of experimental serum because he wants to regress. He wants to regress Michael London for some reason. I'm not quite sure what his end game is. But of course he turns into a werewolf, and yes, and that's about it. I mean, it's all right, doesn't it? I was a teenage
In
werewolf.
fairness, for a film that was an hour and 10 minutes long, it packed a lot in.
Yeah, it's. I think it's all right. I mean, now it's not
Michael London. I don't think it was much of a stretch for his acting ability because what I read, and it's not research, but it's hearsay or whatever. I don't think he was a nice guy anyway. So, and he was
But
a
he
nice
was an
guy.
angel.
No, I think he took on the angel role because he was a bastard in real life. So
yeah, I think you might be onto something. I think he there's something of the reborn Christian about him, isn't there?
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't a stretch to the imagination that he got into a lot of fights and was a dick. And yeah. So
yeah, oh yeah, we forgot to mention that he's super touchy, isn't he? From the beginning.
Oh bloody hell.
Yeah.
Loved to scrap that little London did.
Yeah. He's a bit Stephen number 1.
Talk about.
Yeah, anyway, not as good though as I haven't seen it for a while, but I always preferred. So this was originally a double bill in Drive-Ins. You would have had I Was a Teenage Werewolf and I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, if you remember that one.
Vaguely.
Yeah. See, I always remember I Was a Teenage Frankenstein being the more interesting. I think this is the slightly classier of the two, but I Was a Teenage Frankenstein was the kind of weirder one, I think.
Yeah, I I can't remember much of that, but it would have been a classic double bill on Halloween night. Instead of actually showing something interesting, they were like, "I'll just show them again. That'll fill 2 hours in the schedule."
Yeah, and sometimes it was an inspired bit of program. They'd also show. So there's another companion. There's a film called How to Make a Monster, which the setting of that film is the makeup department for both of these films.
Right.
But I don't remember that being particularly good. But just an interesting tie-in with it. Anyway, we don't need to spend too much time on Teenage Werewolf because we just wanted to. It's for context, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So then, seems to be a direct line between I Was Teenage Werewolf and Teen Wolf, but hang on a minute there, because in 1981 we get Larry Cohen's Full Moon High.
Yes.
Which I don't think many people saw, because I think it came out from Filmways just before they got bought by Orion.
Okay.
So I get the feeling Full Moon High, not many people actually saw it.
No, I wouldn't have. It wouldn't have had a lot of word of mouth either.
No, but I'm pretty sure the people who made Teen Wolf probably had a.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
Alan Arkin was in it, and yeah, you could tell it was one of his earlier roles because he was pretty wooden as well.
Well, it stars Adam Arkin, the son, right? Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny. So I remember not liking Full Moon High that much back in. I watched it this time, and there's something about it. It's not without a certain amount of humor. Some of it was quite funny.
It's tongue in cheek, definitely, and I think they knew that when they were making it, so it wasn't as if they were going to go to polar ends of the spectrum, as in finding range and empathy and all this kind of jazz. They knew what it was, and they had fun with it.
Yeah, and Alan Arkin does turn up in it, and he is quite funny. Did you get to the bit with him in it?
Well, he was the main quarterback guy, wasn't he?
No, that's the son, but his old man, Alan Arkin, turns up.
I didn't get to there.
No, his bits are quite. Alan Arkin always reminded me a bit of you, actually. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take it with a compliment then.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like him, but I don't know. There's something about him that reminds me of, in the same way that Joel Fleischman from Northern Exposure reminds me of you for some reason.
Yeah.
There might be something a bit Jewish about you.
I've heard that for the last 35 years from you, so yeah.
Have you? Have people told you that there's something a bit Jewish about you?
Oh, no, as in the whole kind of Joel Fleischman thing.
All right, yeah, well, you would have heard that from me.
yeah, like I said, yeah.
But it's true. There's something, and this is very much Larry Cohen directs, the Arkins, so it is in that it is that specifically self-deprecating, tongue-in-cheek, like you said, Jewish style of humor, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I laughed a bit more than I expected. I think it helps if you come in with no expectations or low expectations, you'll get a few giggles out of it, I thought.
Yeah, admittedly, I watched it in the wrong frame of mind because I was sick. Well, I had back spasms, so I wasn't comfortable, and I was annoyed anyway. So nothing was going to make me feel better. And yeah, right. I got about halfway through, and I was just like, I can't do this. I just can't do it.
You might not even want to be laughing your ass off if you've got back spasms, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah,
are you all right now?
Just like free. I am all right now. Yes.
Oh, there
just give me some chewing gum.
So it is raised before they raise the packing rate, right? That is
absolutely.
Not pocket rate, as we all thought it was.
Yeah. Well, again, subtitles are a wonderful thing.
Yes, so this also reminded me a tiny little bit watching it this time because I'd just seen it again recently. Have you ever seen the film with Dean Stockwell in, speaking of Quantum Leap, called The Werewolf of Washington?
Yes.
So there's a little bit of that in this as well, isn't it? I felt a little bit
Yeah.
to go into Romania and getting bitten by the wolf, and
Yes.
the Werewolf of Washington as well. When I was thinking about it, feels a bit like a Larry Cohen film before Larry Cohen started making those kind of films. Right? It's got that mix of horror and satire and
yeah. But also going back and seeing Dean Stockwell in when you generally associate him with one role, i.e., Quantum Leap. It's
talking to
it's hard to kind of envision him as anything else then, but it was still enjoyable.
Yeah, I've always liked Dean Stockwell. There's something about him.
There's something mischievous about him.
Yeah, yeah. Always been a kind of a fan of him, and he was always the best thing about Quantum Leap as well, wasn't he?
I won't have a bad word said about Quantum Leap.
No, I didn't say it, but he was the best thing. Like when he turned up, that was talking to Ziggy or whatever. That was the
he always had humor. I mean,
yeah. Of course, right after this, Larry Cohen's next film would have been another one of our faves that turned up on Moviedrome, Q the Winged Serpent.
With David Carradine.
Yes, that was what he made after this.
Now that is a film which I remember the first time watching it, and I was like, I don't really know what's going on, because it was a fantasy, but also literally in the middle of Manhattan, or it was alluding it was Manhattan regardless of where they were filming it.
It was Manhattan, yeah.
But I remember watching that and thinking, what the hell is going on?
Right.
I think,
if I remember correctly, it would have been the bottom half of a Moviedrome double bill with Alligator.
Yes, because you were a Manhattan double bill. Yes.
Great double bill.
Oh, I mean, yeah, and I mean, it's not a stretch of the imagination either, because they do find there's a couple of gators crocs down that sewers of theirs.
Yes. Yeah, Alligator remains a favorite of mine. I love Alligator.
Yeah, I can never remember how it finishes, actually.
Because I remember before it being on Moviedrome, I had seen it earlier. It had been on television, because it is a very early TV memory of mine watching Alligator. Like when I was super young, and I always remembered the scene where, it somehow makes its way into a pool, and there's the little kid with the blindfold on his birthday party, and he's going to jump in the pool. And
no, but I think that was my first Moviedrome experience, was that bill that weekend. It was Q, and I remember recording both of them because I didn't watch them live. I watched them the day after.
Right.
At my grandmother's house. Yes.
In between Highway to Heaven.
It was an excellent prequel. Yes.
Right. I might even actually have come around and watched Q with you.
Possibly.
Yeah, because I would have watched Alligator for sure, but I might not have stayed up for Q. I might have.
Maybe that will happen then, because I watched
round and you were watching it anyway, and then
and then we watched Highway to Heaven with my grandmother.
Well, I wouldn't have stuck around. I don't remember Highway to Heaven in your grandmother's house, I have to admit. I just remember BeWise Classics.
Cake.
BeWise Classics.
Like gum.
Well, with whatever. Yeah, we'll have to do a special show. If you can remember exactly what they were, and I know you probably will, those 5 or 6 tapes that you got for your birthday.
When you say birthday, or did we? Oh yeah, it was Skeleton Coast, American Eagle, A Breed Apart. Those are the ones that I got. Or Stunt Wars was another one. The really bad Stunt Wars. I think we talked about that one before.
No, we didn't. We were planning to, but we haven't actually got round to stunt wars. Was that part of that batch? Was it?
Yeah, but also I remember I would borrow videos from my uncle's girlfriend. McVicker was one. Scum was one.
Yeah, we've talked Scum. No, we haven't, but on another show we have.
Yeah. What else was there?
Well, if you can remember the elusive fifth of the birthday batch, so Skeleton Coast, American Eagle, Breed Apart, Stunt Wars, and one more. If you can remember it, that's a show.
Skeleton Coast, I can't remember American Eagle. I've tried to look it up before, and
I remember the title too. You're not mental. I remember you had a film called American Eagle, but I've no idea what it was.
Skeleton Coast had Ernest Borgnine in it. It's the
Yeah.
only thing I remember about that. It was like a mercenary one. I think it was basically a take on Airwolf.
Right, it's a John Cardos film, I think, isn't it? I've never seen it, I don't think.
And American Eagle, I remember the cover distinctly, but I can't remember the actor.
Well, it's all right, Al. You don't have to remember because we're gonna do a special show maybe after Vamp and Zapped. So
Yeah,
get your thinking cap on what that fifth title was.
yeah, I'll have to go through.
It's a shame. It's a shame we didn't ask you before you went back to visit because you probably still got them at home, have you?
They would be at they would have been possibly because when I moved all my VHSs, I kind of sold them pretty cheap then. But yes, yeah, it'll come back to me. That Star Wars, that Stunt Wars one was it was a compilation, but it was also a movie, and it was a bit of a hybrid.
Yeah, no, I know what Stunt was. Because I've seen it in recent years. I know what Stunt was, and it'll be interesting to talk about actually, because it does have a very big Japanese component to it as well.
Okay.
Right. So here we go. The meat of the matter. Then 1985, Teen Wolf.
Yes.
Directed
A
by
guy turns into a fucking werewolf, and nobody batted an eyelid.
Well, so Michael J. Fox, I suppose as well, he'd been doing Family Ties for a while, and it's just before he got the Back to the Future gig, right? So I think the way I think it's right is because he mentioned something along the lines of, "Oh, for fuck's sake, why am I making this crappy Teen Wolf film while Steven Spielberg's making a Back to the Future down the road?" Because they were filmed very close together, apparently. So I guess Teen Wolf was made when it was still Eric Stoltz was the star of Back to the Future, right?
Yeah, because I think Stoltz only did like 2 or 3 weeks on it, but they had to reshoot everything.
That's right. And there's a bit of not test, but there's a bit of footage on one of the supplementary discs on, special editions of Back to the Future or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, quite a ball. I mean, I often wonder, that must have been pretty fucking devastating for Eric Stoltz. Like, you think, oh, I'm filming, this is my film, brilliant. And then, yeah, like you said, 2-3 weeks or whatever in, and they're like, yeah, sorry, son, we're going to let you go. Like, number one, to lose the gig. I mean,
yeah,
didn't quite know how big Back to the Future was going to be, but still. But also, just like, what a kind of, yeah, you're just not up to the task. It's like, that kind of thing would lead to quitting the industry, right? I'm quite surprised that he hung about, really.
Yeah, but also, wasn't it his interpretation of it all was very dark, whereas Michael J. Fox was a bit kind of more jovial.
No, I think it was the right decision overall, but I'm just thinking from his point of view, like, not many films of that kind, like big things that people would, I mean.
I was at 85.
Yeah, 85, yeah. So,
but in fairness to Stoltz, then he went on and made some kind of wonderful and.
Well, that's what I mean. So I'm quite impressed that he bounced back, right? Because that would have been a big thing, right? Like,
that would be the right kick in the ball.
Production.
Yeah.
To have lost the gig like before it even started, that's one thing. But like, you're there, you're kind of thinking, oh, this, I'm safe now once you get cast, but then.
Yeah, you think after 2 weeks in, no, this is my gig, and you feel like job security.
You mentioned Some Kind of Wonderful. There's something Some Kind of Wonderful about Teen Wolf, isn't there? Watching it this time, the single parent setup and the tomboy best
Yeah,
friend who he ends up with at the end, even though he's been lusting after the more
yeah,
traditionally beautiful. I thought, oh, yeah, Some Kind of Wonderful in here.
yeah, yeah. Because you get that in Some Kind of Wonderful. It's the same as Pretty in Pink, and it's
Yes.
all nonsense. Then yes,
Yeah, so yeah, Michael J. Fox discovers that he's a werewolf. His dad, James Hampston, is kind of, yeah, quite amusingly kind of chill about the whole thing because he's a werewolf. That reveal is actually genuinely quite fun. I have to say, the bit in the bathroom where he's
yeah.
going to show to his dad that he's a werewolf, he turns out his dad's already there. That's actually quite a good gag, I thought.
That's probably one of the highlights. Yes, as in
Yes.
you're expecting the big reveal, and all of a sudden it's like, ta-da! I'm the same.
Yeah. No, nicely done. The timing, the editing is good in that scene, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean
Um,
that.
hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I'd forgotten like quite how hippie Michael J. Fox's werewolf makeup is. It's a very long-haired werewolf, isn't he? He looks like
Yeah.
one of the Manson family or something.
I mean, it's his way. Well, yeah, his getup is. I just still can't fathom the way that he transforms. There's been no mention of werewolves or anything, and then he transforms in the middle of the bloody court, and it's like, oh, you just turned into half a dog. Okay, fine, let's carry on.
Hmm.
But it still blows me away that
Everyone just goes along with it.
yeah, it's normal, and then all of a sudden, then as you said, the hot girl wants to date him and all this kind of jazz, and then it becomes the lead in the play and all this shit.
Are you trying to say that it's a bit unrealistic?
And I'm saying that
Or as my dad would have put it, a bit disjointed. That was his criticism of most things. A bit disjointed.
well, it was very disjointed, and also going back to he was in a hit TV show, and then his agent go, "This will be great for your career."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can kind of tell, not that he's not giving it his all, or anything, but you can kind of tell Michael J. Fox a little bit embarrassed, isn't he?
Yes,
He's
and
almost apologetic throughout.
yes, but there are some that I mean I've quoted and I've referenced Teen Wolf. I mean I saw it. I was like 10 years old or whatever it was, and then I hadn't seen it for I don't know, maybe 25 years or whatever it was since.
Hmm.
But I still remember snippets of him going into the cupboard and scratching the back. Everyone
Yes.
remembers that. That's very vivid. And the handstand on the van. That's
Yes, that's the bit I remembered is, yeah,
yeah.
surfing
And
on the top of the van, yeah.
and then running around the basketball court where that's most of the film. But there's very significant points in the film where you see it once, but it stays with you.
Yeah, I have to admit as well, watching it this time, I actually thought, because I didn't even particularly like it when I was a kid, but it's all right. I mean, for this kind of thing, it's kind of okay. It's better than I expected it to be. It's not brilliant, but it's exactly what you expect it to be.
Yeah,
Right?
for canon fodder film television, something in the background. Yes. This acceptable.
Yes.
Number two, no,
Mm.
no, 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 no,
You
no.
mean TOO 2, Teen Wolf 2,
Yeah, two,
2, which
two.
which ooh, right now. Yes, it's which Michael J. Fox refused to come back to. So we have Jason Bateman, who has since gone on to kind of better things, right?
And he's been quoted as saying this is the lowest of the low in his career, and
His old man produced it as well, right?
Mhm.
Kent Bateman, who also directed that very weird horror film, The Headless Eyes, back in the 70s.
Right.
So yes, so Jason Bateman is the cousin of Michael J. Fox, right?
I mean, it's tenuous with being the most tenuous of tenuous.
Yes.
And then you have the father from the original
Yeah, he turns up.
popping him off for like 10-minute cameo.
John Astin
Yeah.
as the professor, right?
Who let's face it, you look up overacting in the dictionary and you'll have this.
Yeah, but it's John Astin, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, so the one thing I'd totally misremembered about this film was I remember it for some reason. I have this false memory that Jason Bateman plays basketball again, but it's not. It's a boxing. Boxing is this film, right?
Yeah, because you couldn't have a remake and then almost totally, do the same thing again. Even
yeah, not only that, not only are they decide as well, oh well, we'll do a bit of Dirty Dancing as well, right? Because it's got the whole "Do You Love Me" stuff.
yes.
No, it's rubbish, isn't it? This one. I mean,
it is dire.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
You've also got the return of Mark Holton, right? The fat friend.
Yes, I mean, in fairness to him, I hope he's invested that money wisely because I don't think maybe he did a few other things after that, but basically this was his kind of crowning glory.
Yeah, he's still working. He's actually got quite more credits than you might think. I mean, yeah, it's there was one scene in this that I thought was kind of memorably weird when in the middle of a science lab, instead of a food fight, they have a frog fight. Remember this? And they suddenly start throwing like dismembered frogs around the room. I thought that was quite funny. I didn't expect people to start throwing dead frogs
No.
around. But other than that, I mean,
the way I would describe this is, let me borrow your homework. And he goes, yeah, you can borrow my homework. You can copy my homework, but just change it a little bit so that's not obvious.
Right. Well, the other thing that's kind of strange about it as well is Michael J. Fox is quite good at playing because Michael J. Fox was clearly good looking, right? But I suppose maybe because of his height and because he can play kind of neurotic, he could get away with.
He's very good at being self-deprecating. Yes.
Yeah, and you can believe that the hot girl in school isn't interested in him, right? In Teen Wolf. The thing is, in Teen Wolf 2, as soon as you see Jason Bateman at the beginning of the film, he's actually quite smooth looking, isn't he? He's got that slightly intellectual. He's got his glasses, and he's talking to some girls on the campus, and they're like directing him, and you can tell the way they're talking to him. You can tell they think he's a bit of a dreamboat.
They're tuning on him.
Yeah, the body language and he's acting a little bit. Oh yeah, and he's got that kind of nerd chic thing going on. So it makes no sense that he needs to turn into a flea-bitten werewolf to be popular. He's already popular, I think, or potentially popular, right?
Yeah.
He looks popular to me the way everyone's interacting with him. So, and I don't think that's his fault. I think it's just casting and badly written. Like you said, it's the copying homework thing rather than being thought through from scratch.
Yeah. We made a lot of money on the first one. We'll make half the money, if not three-quarters, of the same kind of concept.
Right.
The same people watch this one.
And clearly they're on. I mean, the fact that it came back in 2011 as an incredibly popular TV series as well, which ran for many, many, many seasons. But that's very much in the post-Twilight Vampire Diaries world, right? So it's very serious, right? And it's and teenagers being very serious and teenagey things, and
yeah.
But before that, because yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Ginger Snaps, because I think Ginger Snaps is probably the best of all these films, really, isn't it?
I will say it's and um, the werewolf genre is very kind of masculine, and this one was yeah, it flips it on the head really.
Yeah, yeah, and as well, I suppose the from I Was a Teenage Werewolf onwards, yeah, it's the whole thing about the Lincoln therapy being allegorical for puberty and stuff like that, right? But this one really goes for that, right? Like there's no messing about. I mean,
Yeah,
um, yeah, so Canadian film 2000, directed by John Fawcett, written by Karen Walton. Emily Perkins and Catherine Isabel are kind of emo schoolgirl sisters, right? Um, they do like these death scene photographs of themselves and stuff like that for a school project.
I mean, that was an interesting first 20 minutes trying to establish what that was trying to establish in a way. I didn't know where it was going with that.
Had you not seen this before then?
No, this was my
Right.
first thing. So I wasn't sure then if they were doing a play on or The Boy Who Cried Wolf and then
Mm,
different death scenes. I don't know if that was trying to be too clever, a bit too kind of inside baseball kind of thing.
mm.
But yeah, it's just girls being being creepy and having a suicide pact by the time they were 16. Which
Right.
again, I didn't know it didn't add anything to the story, but unless they were just trying to double down on goth girls being weird, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's the outsider thing, isn't it? And it's very 2000, right? This is what I suppose. Yeah,
As you
if
say,
if
emo,
if
yeah.
if Michael J. Fox was your kind of outsider for the mid 80s, then this is the 2000 equivalent, right? Where they'd have been listening to The Cure and stuff, right, when they weren't.
Yeah. They were listening to The Cure for irony rather than angst.
Um, so they're yeah. So Catherine Isabel gets attacked by a wolf, and then she basically starts becoming a werewolf and starts killing dogs. A lot of dogs killed in this film,
Yeah.
has to
I
be
mean,
said. And there's already talk of the beast, some beast of the area or something, right? But at the same time, so this Catherine Isabel is she's the one of the two sisters who's a little bit more what's the word? She's maturing a bit quicker, and she's the kind of the hotter one, and she's getting, boys in school are interested in her. So this kind of and she's starting her period as well at the same time. So they're both a bit late to be having their first periods, I thought. But
yeah, I think that was the whole kind of thing about was it Mimi Rogers? I mean, she was that was a strange character for her too.
she's funny. I think she's really good in this film. She's like, yeah, she's so enthusiastic about the joys of menstruation, right? And yeah, she was quite funny. And John Bourgeois is the dad was just like, like he's clearly trapped in a house with three mad women. Um,
Yeah.
um,
But this was it was a bit of a homage to American Werewolf in London also. It's the same kind of premise.
yes,
You are randomly
yes,
bitten, etc. Which, if I had more time, I would have gone back and rewatched that because I haven't seen that for no,
yeah, no, same.
decades either. But I was all werewolfed out by this.
Yeah,
By the
no, I need to take a bit of a werewolf break like they have in the Beast. Is the not the Beast Must Die? Yeah, the Beast Must Die, right? They have the werewolf break where you guess who the werewolf is.
yes, and um, there was another one in the 90s, a werewolf film. What was the soldiers one? Was that Dog Soldiers?
Dog Soldiers, yeah, early 2000s maybe, right? With Sean Pertwee and
Yeah, I think that
yeah.
was maybe better then rather than we're rewatching it either.
Yes, maybe so. Yeah, so Ginger Snaps, I mean, I think Ginger Snaps is very good for about two-thirds.
Yeah, it flowed. It got stuck a few times. They were trying to, I don't know, they concentrated on a few too many things, like the extra guy that gets bitten, and the love interest boyfriendy kind of thing. He was a Willy Wonky on again, off again kind of thing.
Oh, Chris Lemke is the drug dealer, right? Yes, yes.
Yeah, it got a bit, I don't know. And then when it comes to the end, then as well, when she wants to get infected to try and get the energy to destroy her sister and all this shit, it got a bit. It needed to end a little earlier than what it did.
Yes, no, it's too long. It's too long at 108 minutes. This should have been a 90-minute film. And
Yeah.
so the thing is, it's best, I think, in its earliest part when it's that mix of kind of teen stuff and horror. And then when it becomes a full-on monster film, it's undistinguished, right? So they should have just got that over and done with. Once you got to that final bit where it's a monster film, just get it done quick, finish, and it would have been a lot better. But they drag it out, don't they? And it's not the film's strength, I don't think, as a full-on creature feature.
This is my argument or my criticism of most alien monster films. Once you see the monster, you've lost that kind of
loving feeling.
Yeah, it's the same as Signs. Once you see the monster, same as Super 8. Once you see the monster, you're like, if you can't really get that, the graphic or the art or whatever, if it's not good, it's laughable then. So you can't take the monster serious, and that's what happens with this because it was so fake. I mean, it was just all.
The thing with the monsters is you can have a monster throughout your film, I think, but if you're relying, but you can't rely on it constantly being a surprise. Once you only get to do the reveal once, right? That's the thing.
Yes.
And if you don't have anything else to play, then yeah. So yeah, I very much lost interest, but I still think it's overall a very good film.
Yes, it was better than I was expecting. Based on the others I'd watched. But as you said, a little too long, and yeah, it just lost its core direction.
Yeah, I think so. Although that said, there was a sequel and a prequel in 2004, which I remember them both being decent, surprisingly.
Okay, and released after, obviously.
Yeah. Probably didn't notice this, but one of the voices in the film, I think you hear on a tannoy or something, Lucy Lawless.
All right.
Of Xena fame.
Okay. Yeah. Princess Warrior just did a little bit of a voiceover cameo.
Yeah, so and Ho Pak there's the Chinese guy who plays the school janitor, Ho Pak Kwong. I was surprised to see him because he's in like millions and millions and millions of Hong Kong films, and I didn't expect him to turn up in Canada suddenly in Ginger Snaps.
I was expecting like a deep dive cameo deeper than what it was. I thought, yeah, because I recognized him, but I was like, is it going to be like a homage to other things? But it was
no. I don't know what he was doing in Canada, because he's in Mimic as well, apparently, if you remember Mimic.
Yes.
He's in there somewhere, apparently, as well. So obviously at some point he went on his journey, he went for a journey, he went to Canada and ended up in some films.
Yeah. Interesting.
So there we go. There's Ginger Snaps. And so you didn't get a chance to see Teen Wolf the movie, did you?
I got about I got about halfway through, but it was a bit too. It was
a bit too shit, I would say, but
shit. But it was a bit too slick as well, as in polished, and obviously this was a TV movie from like a series that had gone for a couple of years. But
because Teen Wolf the TV series was started in 2011 and this came out 12 years later, so that's quite a that's quite a run, and it's 140 minutes long, which is way too long for this kind of thing.
Yeah, and I got to about maybe an hour, but
Yeah.
I was getting the I know what you did last summer kind of vibe.
Ah, right, right.
I was getting okay, we're gonna drag this out for another hour, and
I was
again,
surprised as well that it was directed by Russell Mulcahy. Um,
I wasn't aware. I
yeah,
didn't know.
I was kind of surprised. So and it made for MTV, which I guess is where Teen Wolf the series played, I suppose.
Mhm.
The one thing about it I would say, I suspect it's still not. I'm pretty sure it's not good. But one thing in its defense, I would say, watching it, I did feel like very much, well, I'm not the demographic for this film. Not just that I'm a balding old man, but it felt like there was a lot of stuff that would have made sense if you'd seen the series, right? Like
Yeah.
there was a lot of and it's so serious. There's like no, it's really fucking serious. This is for fans of Teen Wolf, and don't you dare watch this film if you haven't watched all 25 series. Or like it was very serious. So I was like, okay.
And it was also difficult because they would do flashbacks for you in case you didn't see the series,
Yeah.
but it wasn't enough information for you
No.
to actually empathize with anything that was going on.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it just totally bounced off me.
Yeah, that's another TV movie. Literally would not go anywhere rather than, as you said, MTV on a 8 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't know if it did. I don't know if it did play theatrically anywhere, but again, maybe if you're a huge fan of the Teen Wolf series, and I've got no reason to think the Teen Wolf series probably isn't bad. I think I've seen a couple of episodes of it, and it seemed,
Okay, so with that in mind, did you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer television and movie
well,
as
I've
a, as
definitely
a comparison?
yes, well, I've definitely seen the film, and then I saw some of the TV series, and yes, I see where you're going with this a little bit. I could definitely see, even though I'm not likely to sit down and watch the entire run, I can see the inherent quality of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, and it was definitely better than average. And yes, I don't think what I've seen of Teen Wolf puts it in that
No, exactly. And it was like, because, well, you go back to it, Buffy came out, what was it, 90, top of my head now, it would have been like 90, well, let's say 2000s. And
The
then you
TV
had,
series, yeah, yeah. The
then you
film
had,
is like 92, wasn't it? Isn't it the original film?
yeah,
Yeah.
because there was Hilary Swank,
No, Christy Swanson.
Christy Swanson, and 90210 Jeff.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I forget his name, but yes, that
Yeah, and I mean, maybe Buffy was like 97, 98 then. But yeah, and then you had Angel, which was the spin-off from that.
yeah, I never saw any of that. I don't know if that holds up or if it's a
I
poor.
mean, I didn't watch that stuff as well. I had a life then, but but also, as you said, then that would have evolved into the Twilight kind of saga, and then this
Yeah,
Teen Wolf
yeah,
would have been, I mean, 5 years after that.
yeah. And again, I've got nothing against. I know some people have a problem, but I have nothing against the Twilight films. They're pretty good for what they are. I even watched a little bit of the Vampire Diaries, which was very much the kind of
Oh, and then yeah,
yeah, that wasn't bad for what it was. I mean,
but that is was it tween? Do they call that the tween genre, whatever it is? Because that's like that 15, 16-year-old kind of
yeah,
market.
see, I'm never quite sure what tween means. Does tween mean between kid and teenager or between teenager and adult? Which one is it? I thought it was between kid and teenager was tween.
Well, I would have gone because the Twilight thing was all marketed for, you know, 14 to 18 or something like that, really. Because, they'd talk about sex or they'd allude to sex, but it wouldn't be like gratuitous, descriptions.
Because I get where's the W come in? If it was later, I'd understand, because it's between you're a teenager and you're still a bit of a twat, so you're a tween. But I don't understand, what does the W actually stand for, because I don't think it is twat and tween, is it? A teen, is it?
Yeah. I mean, preteen. What would be a 14-year-old called? But
I feel, Alan, as if we may be out of our depth here. I don't think we actually know what we're talking about.
if I had some hair, I probably would be.
Yes, but we've gone out of our comfort zone. We've gone beyond the BeWise allotted time.
I mean, no offense, but I don't think we're fucking experts on fucking werewolves either. So there's a lot of speculation in this hour.
This is true. Well, anyway, Alan, it's been fine and dandy, but I think it's time for us to go now. We don't want to belabor the point. Yes, it was quite interesting to take a look at this little batch. Nice to stretch the BeWise Chronicle template a little bit.
It was nice to go into the Videodrome world.
Movie drone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Movie drone, yes.
Yeah. No. We'll probably be poking about in there again at some point in the future show.
Yeah.
But for now, maybe I think we can look forward to a bit of Vamp and Zapped next time, maybe.
I look forward to Vamp, actually. Yes, I need an excuse to rewatch that.
Yes. Right. There we go then. So, yes, there's us done for this time, but we'll be back again. And of course, we always advise you that you should be wise and come back and join us the next time, as of course, on the BeWise Chronicles.
Absolutely.
So until then, cheerio.
That was me and that was him.
Yeah. And that was him, and I can't remember the joke now, but it was very funny.
Absolutely. 2 Ronnies, eat your heart out.